Hey everyone, I hope you're having a good day. My name is Nadia, and I'm often asked whether I have any tips for people who are just now looking for their first job in tech. And yes, I do have a lot of tips. In my upcoming videos, I'm going to be talking about how to make a really great resume, how to prepare your portfolio, and how to apply for jobs, and how to go through the interviews and to get those jobs. But to start with, I wanted to share some thoughts about the mindset that you need to have in order to be successful in the job search process as somebody looking for your first job in tech. So I think we kind of understand that tech industry is competitive, but also there is a little bit of a conflicting imagery being portrayed by the media, in the sense that we are often told that the tech industry is very hot right now, that tech professionals are in very high demand. And while all of this is true, and 2021 was a really, really great year for all developers in terms of finding new jobs or getting better jobs, there is another thing that is also true at the same time. While there are a lot of jobs, there is also very high competition for those jobs. Especially this is true for junior level developers. So if you're applying for your first job as a junior level developer without any commercial experience, you need to understand what your competition looks like. If you apply for a job, you're competing against hundreds or maybe thousands of developers who have very different backgrounds. If this is a junior level job, then there will be people who are self-taught engineers without any commercial experience, or maybe with some commercial experience. There might be people who are graduates from boot camps who also might or might not have any commercial experience. There will be computer science degree graduates. Some of them, or many of them, will have some professional internship that they have done during college. There will also be people who already have some commercial experience working in tech. And this is something that we don't often think about, but in tech, when you're switching jobs, what often happens is that you actually get downgraded. So if you're a senior engineer, you might apply for a job and you will be hired as a mid-level engineer. This doesn't happen always, but it does happen. So when you're applying for a junior developer job, some of the applicants there will actually be people who have been working in tech for a year or even two, and you will be competing with all of them. I'm saying that not to discourage you from applying to jobs. No. On the contrary, my tactic is to apply to many more jobs than you feel comfortable with. My tactic is just to spam in a good way, and basically to contact every company you can think of about potential jobs. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to be realistic and also be a little bit more humble in your job search for your first tech job. I think most of us, have a certain idea of what tech is, and it's very easy to go on YouTube and watch a video about a day in the life of a software engineer working at Google or Airbnb or Facebook. And I think the media and the movies, they present a very glamorous idea of what software developers look like and what their day-to-day life looks like. And I think that while it's fine to have working at Google or Facebook as your career ambition further down the line, with your first job, you need to be a little bit more realistic and a little bit more flexible. Okay, so let me give you an example from my job search process. A few years ago, when I was looking for my first tech job, I set my sights on Krakow. It was my dream city and I wanted to live there. So I was applying to jobs in Krakow, which kind of made sense to me at that time. However, Krakow being a tech hub for that part of Poland also meant that there were a lot of people who were applying for the same jobs. And a lot of them were actually Polish citizens, unlike me, who spoke the language, who might have graduated from top Polish universities. So it was very difficult to compete with them. What happened was that I applied to many, many jobs. However, nobody wanted to hire me, or very few people actually wanted to interview me at all because I didn't have any commercial experience. So they told me, once you get the experience, you should go back to us and reapply, which was nice, but also not very actionable, because how can I get experience if nobody wants to hire me? So I realized that I needed to be creative if I wanted to get it for my first job quickly. So instead of applying to places where everybody wanted to work, I started applying to places where basically nobody wanted to work. In this case, I switched off from searching for jobs on LinkedIn and some fancy job board sites to no-name job board sites and start applying to companies that were small and relatively unknown. Companies didn't have any fancy websites or any big name or employer branding. Some small web development studios located in small Polish towns, and it was a game changer in many senses. First of all, those people were genuinely interested in talking to me because they weren't flooded with this constant stream of great applicants from top Polish universities. They wanted to talk to me. They were curious as to why I was willing to move to their small town. For me, it was mind-blowing just to see so much interest in my applications. Those people allowed me to get a sense of what was expected of engineers on the Polish job market at that point in time. I got some interview prep. I got to talk to them. I got to learn what was expected, what was required, and things like that. And I will always be grateful to those people because they gave me so much more confidence and also a lot of useful information that I could leverage later on. So all of this eventually helped me to find my first job, but this is a topic for another time. So the point of all of this is, I guess, to show you that your first job, it doesn't need to be an ideal, perfect job. It's very likely that your first job won't be paid that well. It's likely that it won't be paid at all, which is also fine if you can find ways to take on an unpaid job or an unpaid internship. It's great. It's still commercial experience. This job might also be very difficult, very tough psychologically. It might be a toxic workspace, and you might not really work on the most exciting things in the world. However, it's fine. Your first job, it doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to happen as soon as you can. Once you get this first job, it will be so much easier to get your second job or your third job. For me, I was just shocked at how many new doors the first job opened for me. And the same thing always happens. The same thing will happen to you as well. So please treat your first job as your greatest opportunity to learn, to get the professional experience, to meet people in tech. And even if this place is just awful and you hate everything about it, it's still very likely that there will be some good people working there. There will still be a lot of learning happening on your first job. So just treat it as an opportunity to learn and to grow, and then to take this knowledge elsewhere. But please, when you are looking for your first job, don't limit your search just to the big name companies. First of all, you should definitely apply to them, especially because big companies such as LinkedIn or Google or Microsoft, I think, they have apprenticeship programs for people from non-traditional backgrounds, graduates from boot camps or self-learners. So by all means, I encourage you to apply there. But also, please don't limit your search to big name companies. And also don't feel that you are a failure if you don't start your tech career by working at Google. Start thinking unconventionally like I did. Think whether there are any local companies, local startups where you can apply. Think of perhaps non-government organizations who often hire developers to maintain their websites as well. Think of smaller businesses that might need help, or like smaller web development studios that are local that might hire somebody who doesn't have any experience. Just get creative and you will get there. That was all from my side for today. Let me know what you think about it. And thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.